Just don't act like, don't forget what brought it about.
Right.
That's all.
And it's where people look for talent. If you look at these tech companies, they go to Stanford, Harvard, Berkeley. You think they're going to the HBCUs and looking for talent there? If they're not pushed to go outside their networks, they're going to hire the same people from the same schools and replicate the same wealth gap. We've got a 10-to-1 wealth gap in America, and instead of talking about that, we're beating up on DEI.
But we had this in your industry, or that you represent. Women were like, they started in 2 programs, big programs, like 20 years ago to get more women in engineering positions. And I think in 20 years it went up 1%. I don't think it's because they were barred from doing it. I just think people choose to go into different avenues.
Bill Maher and Stephen A. Smith teamed up to unleash some explosive truth on the left's woke DEI agenda. Once marching in the same political lane, both now see fractures forming within their own side and have tried sounding the alarm, only to be ignored. In a fiery real-time episode, they tore straight through DEI narratives, shaking the political conversation in a way few expected. Buckle up, this one hits like a detonator.
The complaint that I have over this whole DEI issue is that everybody thinks about diversity, equity, and inclusion, and it automatically connotates in a lot of people's eyes, particularly on the right, that somebody that's in that position must have gotten there because of a level of incompetence and what have you. It's not merit-based. My attitude is similar to the Rooney Rule with the National Football League, similar with affirmative action. What the hell was the policy necessary for to begin with? Because we had a power structure in the United States of America that was unfair, that was unequitable, inequitable. They didn't give a damn, and somebody had to compel them to do the right thing conscientiously, and nobody is talking about that in regards to DEI.
We're talking about the past, but they haven't changed enough. Look at tech. Look at how many African Americans, Latino Americans are in tech, which is producing out all the wealth. What is it because they're born?
Maher fires off a sharp, uncomfortable question. Are certain groups underrepresented in baseball because they are pushed out, or simply because different people gravitate toward different sports? He argues this is a kind of honesty missing in most DEI conversations. Not every disparity comes from discrimination. Many gaps are rooted in personal interest, cultural background, and individual preference rather than systemic obstacles. Yet DEI advocates often sidestep this nuance. As Maher begins peeling back these realities, it's obvious is barely getting started. Hold tight. His critique is about to cut even deeper.
There's only 7% players in baseball who are African American.
That's right. That's right.
Well, this would be a problem if they were barred from baseball, as they were before 1947. There's only 7% because they want to play another sport or no sport at all or do something else. They're not barred. It's not a problem.
I've been getting on them about this is that, again, when you're talking about DEI, anytime you bring that up, oh, you're DEI, you didn't really deserve it. You didn't really earn it. You just got it because of that policy. And I'm like, but you just gonna bring that up but ignore why the policy was there to begin with. That means there was a whole bunch of white people before there was DEI that were getting jobs that they didn't deserve.
I think University of Michigan, one of the schools like that, had something like 200 DEI officers at a college, the most liberal place.
Yeah, that's success.
Okay, and who's ever going to give up that job and go, well, this situation is better now, I guess I better fire me.
Roles built around DEI structures rarely dissipate just because circumstances shift. Incentives keep them firmly in place. Critics note that hiring standards have increasingly leaned toward policy goals rather than traditional merit. And while DEI began with genuine intentions of fairness, the mission slowly drifted. Loopholes crept in, easy to exploit, turning the system from a solution into a strategy. Once that happens, admitting the flaws, let alone fixing them, becomes an uphill battle.
We got a 10-to-1 wealth gap in America, and instead of talking about that, we're beating up on DEI.
But we had this in your industry, or that you represent. Women were like, they started in 2 programs, big programs, like 20 years ago to get more women in engineering positions. And I think in 20 years it went up 1%. I don't think it's because they were barred from doing it. I just think people choose to go into different avenues.
There's the studies show that African American young men and women are more interested in tech than even white kids, but they don't have the same pathways. We are denying reality if we think. So you're someone
they're being.
I'm not saying that.
Maher circles back to his core point, hammering it home with a simple, clear example. Not every field draws equal interest. Some professions naturally attract more people, and differences in representation don't automatically prove discrimination. Global data repeatedly shows the same pattern. When opportunity is equal, many choose education, healthcare, communication, and other people-oriented careers over technical or physically intense work. Maher's message is straightforward but vital. Not every statistical gap signals oppression. Sometimes disparities are just honest reflections of personal preference.
There's the studies show that African-American young men and women are more interested in tech than even white kids, but they don't have the same pathways. We are denying reality if we think, so you're someone young.
They're being
I'm not saying
denied.
that. I'm saying if you graduate from Stanford, I taught at Stanford, you get funded before you have an idea. You literally just email a venture capitalist, you get funded. If you're at Morehouse or you're at Spelman or you're at Claflin University, you think you can just email someone at Kleiner Perkins and get your company funded? No.
I think companies that want to make money hire the best people to make it for them.
Exactly. At the end of the day, big corporations care about one thing above everything else: profit. They are not charities, social experiments, or symbolic hiring centers. They want the strongest talent because top performers drive innovation, progress, and financial success. So when young people dream of landing spots at elite firms, the path is clear. Build the qualifications that make you competitive. For many, that means targeting top-tier universities like the Ivy League, where tough academics, powerful networks, and institutional prestige open doors. These schools don't accept students solely based on identity or finances. Privilege plays a part, and the system isn't perfect, but they overwhelmingly choose applicants with exceptional ability and drive. Companies know this, hence their heavy recruitment on such campuses. If kids want real opportunities, they must aim for merit, preparation, and excellence, not shortcuts or distracting narratives.
I don't disagree with you. I just think that we have to keep a watchful eye on things. For example, with the eradication of a lot of these DEI programs, right? Let's say, for example, hypothetically, there's 20 jobs that are available, and DEI has been shoved aside. Now, when you fulfill those 20, when you fill up those 20 jobs, and all of them are white, you got a problem. Because what you're saying is, oh, they're the ones that are qualified and nobody else is. And that's a system that used to exist in this country that you see a lot of people clamoring to return to.
Well,
and we can't ignore that.
Those 28 jobs would not go to white people, they'd go to Asians.
Okay.
And that point completely dismantles Stephen A.'s claim. In any workplace, high achievers rise because they are reliable, disciplined, and consistently deliver, not because of favoritism. Employers quickly recognize who arrives early, stays focused, and produces real results. That builds trust, and trust is priceless in competitive environments. Some communities emphasize education, discipline, and preparation from childhood, and those values often fuel professional success. So when Stephen A. blames hiring patterns solely on bias, he overlooks the reality that many climb the ladder simply by outperforming everyone around them. Companies reward output, not rhetoric. In a results-driven world, strong work ethic will always outrank slogans.
Just not blacks.
Well, I really, I mean, this is one of the
Asian Americans wouldn't even be in this country if it weren't for the civil rights movement and the African Americans.
But we're talking.
Well, if you're going to bring that up, bring up the fact that whether it's affirmative action or DEI, the biggest beneficiaries of both programs were white women. And let's not forget that.
But can we live in the era we're living in?
Yeah.
Because I think it's 2025. I mean, this is one of the most liberal parts of the country that you represent.
Yes.
So you're saying in one of the most liberal parts, maybe you're right. I don't know. I'm just questioning it. That there is this prejudice against.
I don't think it's formal. I don't think people there at Apple or Google are saying, oh, let's not hire black people. I think it's easy when you're building a company to just hire the people you know, the schools you know, and it takes extra effort to reach out beyond your networks. We all.
This politician overlooks a basic reality. Top companies recruit heavily from Ivy League schools because those campuses consistently attract applicants with strong academics and competitive qualifications. It isn't discrimination, it's efficiency. Big firms don't want to sift through thousands of random resumes when they can focus on candidates already proven in demanding environments. It's simple economics. When you need the best, you start where standards are toughest. We even do this in everyday life, choosing products known for quality instead of random picks. Companies operate the same way when millions, market pressure, and long-term strategy are at stake. They prioritize applicants from places known for preparation and performance. Labeling this unfair ignores how merit, readiness, and real-world results shape